trap that I also love because it's nice and big, and sometimes, again, it's interesting. The mothers oftentimes will go for the bigger traps. When I show you the kitten trap, when you come to the house, or if we want to hand off kitten traps, time and time again, I get these huge tomcats in this little kitten trap, and I'm like, what are you doing in there? I actually had one tomcat that was so big he couldn't back out. The door was not shut, so it was like it was like halfway like this, and his little hind end was sticking out. So he couldn't really back up, but he couldn't really go forward because he was like his nose was to the end.
Oh wow!
I had to go up and hit, tap his rear so that it would come down. And he was stuffed. It was like a little sardine. I said, oh, God, Simon.
Yikes.
So, anyway, we did get him.
Goodness.
Again, this one is really nice because it's got the opening on the end also. Works a little bit different. Again, you always want to be sure that you lock it. So this little bar here, right, this goes up and over the handle.
Right.
So you want to take that off, and then these hooks will hook into the bars here, and then you can lift that up.
Got it.
All right. And so this one is kind of tricky because it sticks out. So you just have to make sure that you force it down and get that in there, and then you close this, and again, you'll have a broken heart like I have had in the past if you skip that step. So don't skip that step. Same premise. You want to do a trail of food, sardine, catnip, whatever. This is kind of nice because it's a nice big area. Word to the wise. If you put the food too far back, Mom will step over the trip plate and sit very comfortably, or I should say hunch very comfortably, eat the entire plate of food, carefully step back over the trip plate and back out. They're very, very smart. Hey!
Thought I heard your voice.
Very, very smart. One thing that you can do, which is kind of, an extra precaution, is take a piece of cardboard, the width of the trap, and extend the trip plate out. So this is it's again the same idea. This goes up, right? This gets pushed in.
Right.
You lift this up, and it's the same idea. It's kind of weight sensitive, and so this is the hook right here.
Right.
Right. You put this down,
Right.
and then let the door rest on it.
Okay.
Okay. This one is loud.
Okay.
So you see the difference. Like I
Yes.
do really like those true cats just because they are quieter.
Sure.
Yes.
So if you have this set like so,
Gotcha.
you can actually get a piece of cardboard and have it rest like this.
I see.
So when they step here,
It's going to already start the
it's
process.
already going to start. Yeah, it's already
Yeah,
going.
all right.
Okay.
Because I have had that. You may not need to do that,
Okay.
but sometimes when I'm having a real hard time, I think like a cat.
Yeah.
And in this way, it's, yeah. And then okay, so we've gotten our kit. So you've done the trip plate extension, which is great, and a simple piece of cardboard will do.
Okay.
So we got our cat, and then again, most important thing is you want to cover them up, just like a bird. This is actually kind of a small towel. You might, for this bigger trap, you might want to use a sheet.
Okay.
Just be careful when you're using a sheet. Maybe cut it in half, because I've been to the clinic and I'm tripping over the thing. No broken necks. We don't want any broken necks. And so you cover it up. Sometimes the cat will be, your tomcats are going to be really going crazy. Cover it up and leave them for a moment, because they will settle down, and then it's helpful to have somebody else helping you carry. You want to be careful. It's happened to me, not to have your bare little fingers holding.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I say these things from experience. So you don't want to do this,
Okay.
wear a pair of garden gloves is fine, and you can kind of have it down on the, like this, or sometimes if you have the strength in your hands, you can hold it like this, but you do want to kind of protect yourself.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
we don't want any trips to the hospital. We don't want any painful recovery of, bites or scratches. But the whole idea is that you don't have any hands on, because these are animals that are frightened because they're out of context. Here all along you've been lovingly feeding them and watering them and sheltering them, and now you have them in a tiny little trap that feels like it's like this big, and they're used to the big wide world. And the cover again is nice because, think about it. If you were in a small cage and the entire world, say you were on Mars, because you really are not, they are not used to close up and personal, and the entire world is going by you at like seemingly breakneck speed. So the cover, sometimes people feel a sense, like we think of, a cell, a prison cell or something. It's really not the case. They feel safer in a smaller spot. Right. And they're covered up and everything is quiet. Again, I have seen some cats, you have a cat in here and then their buddy is sitting out here, reaching through. It must be embarrassing in the cat colony, because they have, their friend is reaching through on the outside and trying, here these are nice and small so they can't fit, but like here I've seen cats like actually reach in and scoop out a little bit of food while their friend is in there going, please just open the door. So they may sit on top. If you have, even if they're uncovered, if you have a cat in here and it's calm and there's other cats around and you have traps set, leave them be. Because if you go up, then all of a sudden things start looking suspicious.
Gotcha.
If they're calm, if they're really going nuts, you want to cover them up and remove them as soon as possible.
Oh, got it.
And then within 5 minutes, and they have another, dinner of sardines. It's like, oh, I don't even remember Joe. What happened to him? So
Okay.
they'll go for it. And again, it is a process. You have a family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of them might be a little bit trickier. If you catch mom and not the babies, they're old enough now and they're being lovingly cared for by you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't panic and feel like, oh my gosh, now they don't have their mother. I should let the mother back out.
No.
Don't.
Okay.
All right.
Once they are in this trap, do not open that trap.
Okay.